Onesies, a podcast of onesies and wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew.
My name is Emily.
And we are back discussing episode 3 of Maximum Bob, entitled The Bay of Bigs, I believe, or Bay of Bigs.
Bay of Bigs.
And this episode, we have lost Wanda Grace.
Yeah.
We have lost any black actors. But we also lost people talking about the black folks on the show using archaic language.
Yes.
So that's interesting. We have also lost much.
Well, I don't know that they're talking about any black folks in
there aren't any
this.
black folks in the episode. They can't talk about them.
Right.
But it was a nice change. I mean, possibly Michael Eisner was like, hey guys, hey Barry Sonnenfeld, director of Wild Wild West, next summer's big hit. Maybe if you can't resist using archaic terms to refer to a valuable customer demographic, because let's not forget, Black Americans as a demographic, they spend a considerable amount of money on entertainment. And at this point, I guess we don't know yet how Disney's going to act about it, but at this point, people still wanted to do that as opposed to now.
Yeah.
So that's possible. Also, much to, I assume, Emily's chagrin, I didn't get the thumbs down text from her. What's the wife's name?
Leanne.
Leanne is going to be fully dressed and a lot more prim and proper, although we still do get the banana eating photo on the judge's desk. So that's interesting. So we have retconned a little. We are fully into she and Maximum Bob, our true love.
Yep.
We are also he is also a lovable-ish, far more lovable, far gentler than he's ever been before. There's no,
the Maximum Bob thing kind of goes away because he only gives this woman a year in jail, even though they talk about, they're like, oh, what is your nickname again? Maximum Bob. Oh, Maximum Bob.
Yeah.
It's very weird. There's some other things that kind of slip away too. So the Wanda Grace thing kind of slipped away. And the wife Leanne's, she hints at she's trying to use her senses, but there must be too many particulates in the air. But there's none of that.
The
spooky stuff.
Liz Vassy loses 95% of her character.
She loses her edge a little bit by, smiling and being charming and then dancing and doing all the other things that she's doing. She loses her edge big time. It's cordial. The courtroom, we got a little bit of this early on. It seems to be like a spectator sport. It's very strange, very weird.
Sam Robards gets not just a first name, but he also gets a lot more presence without much more to do except to co-sign on Maximum Bob's abuses of the legal system.
Yes.
So
also there's a scene where she asks him, Bob, to recuse himself, and he said, unless you can find somebody else to adjudicate within 100 miles, which you can't because there is nobody. But in the previous episode, we established that they're 90 miles outside of Miami.
Yeah.
And it's farther. I mean, the place, Lake Okeechobee, is farther than that, but still, there's going to be judges. There's all up the coast of Florida. There's places.
Possibly not in this universe. We will get more of the brothers.
Oh, God. That was tedious. It paid off, but I wasn't sure how. I mean, I was sure how, but
the this should be Northern Exposure vibes are this should be. I mean,
And then you add the government agents, and it felt like Twin Peaks, or not. It didn't feel like
like a
Twin Peaks.
spoof of Twin Peaks,
It
like a
was weird.
reference. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
also Men in Black.
yes, but also having the Men in Black and have them be, yeah. So, folks, if you don't remember, if you're not old enough, or if you don't remember, post Men in Black, like pre Men in Black, it was a not a meme, but it was a trope that X-Files leaned into to some degree. But
Yeah.
post Men in Black, it was such a trope that I remember seeing The Matrix on opening night, and people were groaning when the agents showed up
Hmm.
because they were just men, and it seemed like they were just going to be Men in Black, and it
Hmm.
seemed very whatever. So
Derivative. It seemed
derivative. Thank
derivative.
you.
Yeah.
So this theoretically should be able to do something with it because Barry Sonnenfeld directed Men in Black, but no. Barry Sonnenfeld doing sea-level television, and Barry
And
Sonnenfeld.
I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like this, like, government conspiracy thing wasn't very well explained.
No,
It was really stupid.
it's really stupid. The only that I liked, so we have a couple guest stars, and we also have probably the best overall direction of an episode, which is funny since I've never heard of this guy, and Barry Sonnenfeld directed the first one. But whoever directed this episode was not as obnoxious as the previous ones. He seemed to understand the you're trying to do Northern Exposure assignment. We open on a police stakeout with the judge and the sheriff. Now, in the previous two episodes, the judge has lied to the sheriff's face, and the sheriff has found out that he is a liar. In the last episode, or no, was it? Yes, it was the last episode. The sheriff locks Liz Vassy in a room and forces her to read through cases pending in front of the maximum Bob, so
Right.
she can make sure that these people get proper
Get a
trials.
Yeah, get a fair
Where
shake.
where now the sheriff is all in on Maximum Bob because Maximum Bob is less maximum and all. He's more understandable. He just wants to like throw his ex-wife in jail because like that's what a man would do.
He wants to throw his ex-wife in jail so he doesn't have to pay her alimony, and he can go on a fishing trip to Key West.
Which made no sense. Like when they set that up, I thought it was like he was going to take over her house or something. No, and then they cut it to, well, we'll get there. So we open with the scene. They're on a stakeout. We watch a figure in a hoodie go to a barrel
A
and
crate
a
or something.
crate,
Yeah.
and there are Cuban cigars in there. This is where we get Emily's favorite line of the episode, which I will not share.
I will
Um,
not share either, but it is with regard to um
it's the Epstein class, folks. It's the Epstein
yeah,
class.
it's with regard to minors.
Yeah, it's regard to sexualizing children.
Yeah.
Um, though not according to Megyn Kelly if she were talking about her daughter. So the stakeout reveals that it is the judge's ex-wife, played by guest star Lee Garlington,
Who
who,
I loved,
who you also said you had no familiarity with.
but
So
I
I'm
do. Like, I saw her and I was like, I know her from something, but
exactly.
I don't know what.
She's basically what would happen if Stockard Channing said no to you is you would get Lee Garlington, right?
Yeah.
Like she's a Stockard Channing type. She's despite being we've already talked about how all these characters are Trump voters. Lee Garlington's character has had if Lee Garlington's character started hanging around Mar-a-Lago to like trafficking 12-year-old girls. Like, other than that, she's delightful. So we then So the sheriff is there. The sheriff is in on it, and we're arresting the ex-wife. The ex-wife knows that the judge is there because it is an open secret that she imports Cuban cigars
Mm-hmm.
and supplies them. We will find out, to everyone, including potentially the judge. That goes nowhere.
That goes
Um,
nowhere.
so we do we cut to the dance school after the credits, or do we have the boys and the basketball? We don't
I'm
go
not.
straight to court.
We don't go straight to.
I think we do the dance. So
No, we do the dance. The dance is after court because she goes. Liz goes in to talk to. No, we do go to the dance because it's before Liz comes in. It's
yeah,
the sheriff is dancing with his dance partner, and they have a dancing coach or dance instructor.
played by special guest star Miguel Sandoval, who is in a lovable character mode in this one. He has played in range from lovable to, probably Panamanian dictator in his career, but he is a familiar face and a welcome casting choice for the episode.
He was also delightful.
Yes.
He's very happy with the progress that these two dancers are making together, and they're preparing for the amateur
Amateur state finals. We don't
state finals.
exactly
But
find that out in this scene. We find out there's a
we
competition.
we kind of do. Well, yeah, a competition, and they're done, and he's applauding them, and the woman dance partner runs away crying. They approach her and ask her what the problem is. She says she's pregnant, and they both congratulate her. Oh, that's wonderful news. And she says, no, I'm 3 months pregnant, which means by the time of this competition, I will be as big as a house and I will not be able to dance. And then does she leave crying? Like it's not a very flattering interpretation of she's in a real life scenario. If a woman was this upset by being pregnant, she should not be having children, because just not being able to participate in a dance competition is not a reason to be blubbering the way she's blubbering. So it's not a very flattering representation of
She
women.
is failing men who are not her husband, so she feels bad about it.
It's gross. I didn't love that, but to
No,
me it just seemed cartoonish,
it
and
was very silly. We also
yeah.
then are going to get in the first episode. We established that the sheriff only likes dancing with short women. That's going to get
Mm-hmm.
thrown out completely. We are going to have this episode is just nonsense. I was just thinking about the dance scene and how it. Okay, so Liz Vassy comes in yelling at the
This
sheriff.
is after. No,
We cut.
we cut because we have
Okay,
to go
so
to the courtroom scene first.
So Sam Robards is now a full-on, like, Sam Robards is in as many scenes, if not more, than Liz Vassy. Liz
Yeah.
Vassy no longer has second lead stat or first lead status. They go to court. She has not had a chance to talk to her client, which seems unlikely even in this universe. But judge comes in. We get a lengthy judge setup. He apologizes to everyone. He's taking his vacation.
And this is where we get he's taking his vacation. This is the judge who's going to be coming on board.
Milton is going to come over.
Minimum Milton, yeah. And then it's like, and everyone's like booing, which is alluding to this weird spectator industry that this guy has created. Anyway, there's a confrontation between Bob and his ex-wife. We find out that throughout this that they're arguing back and forth, and Liz is like, what's going on? How do you know her? What's going on? How do you know her?
Recuse yourself. Yep.
And then but Rose or Rosette, I don't know.
Rose Ellen, but he calls her Rose. So Rose Ellen. Pay attention, because that is going to be very important in the next scene. But the men in black come in at one point and just observe, but then Liz Vass is like, stop directly addressing my client. And Maximum Bob's like, I was married to her for 12 years. There's nothing this woman likes more than spouting off to a man in public or something. And it's just like, cool. And she's like, man, I fucking sell you the Cuban cigars. And he's like, well, Mr. Prosecutor, I just heard her confess. And Mr. Prosecutor's like, yes, you did. And he's like, you're sentenced to a year. Um, and then the men in black come in and she's like, I'll be out of here. You can't do this. I got you now. He's like, whatever. See you in a year. She goes away. There's
Liz
a
Vassie's like, I need to talk to my client. He's like, you've got a year to come up, with her
appeal.
appeal. You've got time. You'll be able to talk to her later. Then do the men in
The
black,
men in black come in and look at him, but nothing
but they
happens.
don't say anything to him. Okay, in the moment. I
No.
feel like he addresses them. I don't, maybe not the judge.
He
No.
might look at them. I can't remember. Do we cut straight to the no, we cut
I think
to
we cut to the twins.
here's where we start the twin subplot where the
Subplot
twins
is barely the word for it. Like, this is what, two scenes?
that is the subplot of this episode.
Absolutely, but I wouldn't even go so far as to call it a subplot.
No.
It's Chekhov's exploding basketballs, right? Like, that's what this is. That's
Yes.
all it is.
So they are in silly sort of protective gear, and there are three Hispanic gentlemen watching them, and they start bouncing basketballs. And
They're
then
having the twins are having a conversation. One of them has like in the news via the newspaper applied for a job. The other one doesn't know what the job is. Again, they're dressed ridiculously. They're holding basketballs. They don't know what's going on. And the job was advertised as being testing experimental equipment. And the three Hispanic guys are kind of sketchy looking. They've got like braids, like tied back braids. They're in like cut up denim stuff. They're smoking. They look like toughs. Like, we don't know exactly what's happening. But so they bounce these basketballs, 1, 2, 3. I think the fourth time we hear a big explosion and we cut back to the twins and they're all covered in soot. The basketballs have exploded. Their goggles are awkwardly off their face, like cartoonish again.
explosions. What else has changed? We no longer have the random explosions in the background.
Oh, see, I didn't even notice them the first time.
This is such a good show. So I think we get like a little bit more of the twins establishing their. Oh no, I think we cut back to them actually. So first
There's another. They test another thing.
that's a different
darts.
scene though. So where did at some
Then
point,
we go back to the sheriff's office where the sheriff and the dance instructor are talking about where to get a partner. What are they going to do? Da 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 da.
Liz Vassie comes in, starts talking to the sheriff. She's like, was the judge with you on this stakeout? And he's like, yeah, it's totally legal. And she's like, I don't think that's legal. And he's like, that's how we do it here.
He's just such a involved judge. And it's like, go home and get some sleep, old man. Like, come on.
So
and also, while he's at the stakeout, he comments like, we catch this person and put them in jail, and anybody who owes them money doesn't have to pay that money. And I think he even says, that means I can take my vacation to Key West. So he explicitly states to an officer of the law that he is there to watch this happen. He didn't set it up, that she is doing something illegal. So he wants to watch, so he does not have to pay alimony.
This is literally the most realistic thing in the world when you think about the fact that cops just steal people's shit all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So, but Miguel Sandoval is watching them and he's like, maybe you two should dance together. You got a lot of energy. And
there's a creepy shot where he's dancing by himself. Then he stops and he looks at Liz Vassie and the camera like starts at her feet and like slowly goes up while they're having this serious, legitimate conversation. That was creepy. But then he invites her to dance and he's like walking her through it, but using dance lingo. And it's like, if you're not a dancer, how do you know what any of this means?
Because everybody knows how to tango. They just might not know the words yet.
Okay.
The body knows how to tango. But then she's like, man, okay, but I've got this Roselle in the fucking lockup, man. I got to do something about it. And Miguel Sandoval's like, Rose, you have my Rose locked up? What? And he runs
Yeah.
out of the thing,
And
and
we just
they're,
there's a discussion about what does he see in her?
yeah.
What does she see in him? Like type of a thing. Because he's like a shorter, sort of bald guy. Like, I mean, whatever. It's not like he's some hunky Cuban, sex god. He's just some little guy. He's just some little guy. And he's a dance instructor. What does she have interest in a dance instructor when she's selling Cuban cigars?
So I believe we then cut to the jail where we now
Yes.
establish that, what's the wife's name? Leanne.
Leanne.
Leanne gives the female prisoners fresh fruit, which is very nice.
Very nice.
She's dressed very properly, which I know that Emily was very bummed about.
No, she's got a beautiful vintage looking dress. It's lovely.
She's not in her underwear once this episode. So the scene isn't great because they hate women. So the female prisoners are characterized quite
Quite
poorly.
badly. Yeah.
And then Leanne's like, I smell cigarette smoke. Who would smoke in here? And then she sees it's Rose Ellen, who then starts berating her as a husband stealer. This is where I started getting so we're just gonna erase everything. And she's like, Big was the sweetest gentleman in the world. We never shared a bed until our wedding night. I would never. And Lee Garlington's like, man, shut your fucking slut mermaid mouth. And I'm like, Emily loves shows where women support women.
Hey, okay. Maybe that much aggression is unwarranted. She loved Bob, and Bob left her for another woman. That woman just happened to be younger. So she's mad. She's big mad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's pretty realistic.
It's realistic. The issue, I mean, there's not, the issue with it is indicative of the whole show, which is that Leanne is written like a 13-year-old girl.
She is. And even, like you said, she's like, "Oh, we never even slept together." It's like, you and Bob don't work together, that it's best that you're apart. Like it's all G shucks Pollyanna shit. It is really great.
It's going to be interesting to see if that continues because that's what they've replaced the psychic shit with.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that scene. Then I believe we either check in on the boys waking up and then being okay. One of them wants to quit and the other one's like, you don't quit a job the first day. But then we cut to Bob.
But do they test the darts?
Maybe.
So then they get darts shot at them and they're having a conversation walking away as they're going, ow, ow, ow. And one of them starts to feel sick and falls over, and then we cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only important because it comes back in the end.
Yes. So we cut to Bob and Leanne at home. Leanne's like, why is your ex-wife such a bitch? Bob's like, I don't know, women suck. But then, oh shit, no, we have the scene in the prison where he and Lee Garlington, where does somebody tell him that the president, oh no, the secret agents come
The
to
secret
see
agents come
him.
in. Yeah.
Maybe they already did, and they're like, you got to let her go. We're ATF.
And then he's like, fuck off. And they're like, actually, we're FBI undercover as
ATF. And like, well, double fuck off. There's only two people in the world who can make me let out a prisoner: the governor of the great state of Florida and the president of the United States.
And then they're like, actually, maybe it's
they don't
Rose
do the
Ellen.
CIA thing yet. But then at home, Bob gets a call from the governor.
Yes.
And he goes to he's going to go see Rose Ellen in jail. Leanne's fully dressed, is like, don't you want to stay here with me? And he's like, no. Or he's like, I would, but I got to do it. It's my duty.
And at this point, he's getting ready for his vacation too, right?
Yes. The the men in black approach him in a fishing shop where he's
Yeah.
getting waiters, which is a
Even though, why doesn't he already have waiters? You're a
this is a because he's
50 something
buying
year old
new
man in
shit.
Florida.
Because he's buying new shit every year after he throws his wife in jail every year, ex-wife in jail. This is where I was like, oh, they're doing like they're trying to do Northern Exposure, but like at 11 to see if they can get a little like water cooler talk about this because the guy selling him the waiters is like, they feel great when they're against your taint or something like that. And
That should be a tagline. You should work for a marketing company. They feel great against your tape.
um so auto genes. So we he goes to jail, has it out with Rose Ellen. At some point, she's just like, "Don't you just like fighting with me though? We have all this energy." And he's like, "Yeah, but you still suck." And
But I still love
so
my wife.
I love my
Yeah.
wife. And so he's like, we don't see her get out. We don't see her. I didn't even think they were going to do a scene with her and Miguel Sandoval
Mm-mm.
at this point in the episode. I was like, these cheap bastards aren't even going to tie these subplots together. Um, but then basically they have it out. We hear that he would already been governor if he'd stuck with her, and he's like, well, I might get there anyway. And it's like, yeah, but you're supposed to be getting there on, giving the death penalty to um marginalized people to the
Yeah.
cheers of white Floridians. And we don't do that this episode. Like it's very, we,
It's very strange.
it's just such a good show. But then this is why when people are like, I don't understand why The West Wing or ER was considered such a good show. It's because this is what shows were like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it was a long slot. Like you have to understand, LA Law was a really good show compared to other nighttime shows,
Yeah.
right? Like LA Law was like, fucking Shakespearean theater compared to what you were getting on the other. Like, yeah, Stephen Bochco shows don't age well. I haven't watched Hill Street lately enough to know. Some of that will age well, but except for it being propaganda. But like shows were dreck. This is one of those dreck shows.
Yeah.
So we're then going to cut to probably dancing, where Liz Vassie's trying to lead too much and it's throwing Sam Robards off. Miguel Sandoval's a little distracted by all the drama in his life, but then he ends it going, you two are never going to dance well together until you sleep together.
Yeah. I thought that was going somewhere.
I thought it was going to them having a sleepover, which I was more here for than much else. But why would we give Liz Vassie a scene to herself with just Sam Robards like that? Because now there has to be another person tied to one of the subplots in the scene. Like, we're really just, it'll be interesting to see if, we had the pilot, we had the second episode, which clearly was the pilot with some notes.
Mm-hmm.
Episode is the second episode with some more notes. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this show, whether or not we just stay at this milk toast level, or if we're gonna bland, or if we're gonna racy it up a bit, what we're gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Leanne in her underpants this episode, so maybe we'll see Liz Vassy in her underpants. Who knows?
I don't know, Emily. I didn't pick this show. So at this point, the recap's gonna get murky because at this point or around here, I was like, what the hell
Yeah, I
is
got
with
confused.
this? Like the structure of this show is terrible
I got really thrown off because I
because
because I wasn't quite sure what was happening. So my best recollection is that the judge goes out with another deputy to watch his ex-wife.
yes,
The other deputy can read lips,
yeah,
and
even
he's
but he also has a microphone. He has a distance
oh, okay.
microphone. But
Okay.
in the first scene, we heard sounds that he was hearing. In this scene, we do not.
Yeah.
So
So he's reporting back to the judge what is being talked about. It's Rosellen and the two
Men in Black
men in black and a couple other goons, right? There's some
and a
like
very
mob
tall, we see a
related.
tall guy come in. We see a very tall gentleman.
Yeah.
Like that's a basketball player. We don't see
So
his
it's,
face, so it's
but
like
but I got confused about what was going on. The some sort of sale of property, some I don't know. Doesn't matter. All we know
doesn't
is that
matter.
they're up to no good.
They're up to no good. They
But
get
before they can do
captured.
anything about it, they get captured by a goon who says something really stupid. What did he say? Like, "I'd be quiet if I were you. You're about to get whacked," or something
Yeah.
like really, really heavy-handed.
So don't know if we have any fill in after this. It's at night, so this is when we should be cutting to a weird sleeping foot
A
to
weird
foot.
sleepover.
Yeah, weird sleepover. But instead, it's like commercial break next. No, I think we get to interrogation before we. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
it's
get to
interrogation.
interrogation where the mobster, who's played by another familiar face, I didn't look up his name, is interrogating the judge, who's like, man, you can't fucking interrogate me. You just kidnapped a fucking judge in a red state. Like, they're gonna fucking, murder your whole family and say you were terrorists. Like that's how we do. The scene really doesn't go anywhere. It devolves into the judge bragging about orchids while the other guy's bragging about
Birds.
birding. And then we either cut to commercial or we cut to somebody coming in and Leanne reporting the judge missing while somebody else reports the deputy missing.
And at the same time, the dance instructor is there overhearing it all and
Yes,
disappears.
disappears. We is the rescue during the day then,
I
or
think
is that
so.
okay? So we finally get the base basketballs and the blow darts coming back with Miguel Sandoval leading the three gentlemen, now all wearing green. What are those things called?
Like army
Military
fatigues.
fatigues.
Yeah.
And they are rescuing the judge, but they're also attacking the men in black. We might have found out at this point that we might have found out with the judge talking to Lee Garlington in prison or in the jail. Now he was going to keep her in county jail for a year.
A year. Yeah.
Okay. So, but there was this conspiracy that they're going to try to replace Castro, but they're going to get him to step down by giving him a basketball franchise because he loves basketball.
He actually loves baseball. This is
But
true.
they can't give him a baseball team or something, so they're going to try basketball. Now, again, you might not remember this, young listener. You might actually, depending on what state you live in, depending on how Peckerwood your family is, but like we as a country were convinced that Fidel Castro had the powers of Emperor Palpatine or something. Like it wasn't even Satan. He had more powers than Satan. Like Fidel Castro on his little island where people got free healthcare and we just killed 300 of them or whatever. He was the big bad. Even bigger bad than like say Gorbachev was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
I think because of proximity to the United States, but also very much because the people, there is a contention of people who left Cuba
so
and they
not to
were
be too
all
political, a bunch of
very
rich white Cubans
wealthy. Yes.
left Cuba and were like, hey,
We
we
don't like
need to
this guy.
retake Cuba. He took away all of our money. Go watch The
Yeah.
Godfather Part 2. So has Emily ever seen The Godfather Part 2?
Emily has never seen a Godfather.
Okay. Uh So you should start with three. You and Mr. Emily should watch Godfather Part Three. Uh,
Let me just an aside here.
okay.
We, I, before I met Mr. Emily, tried watching the AFI top 100 movies, whatever, um, backwards, of course, in order for me to watch, as an excuse for me to watch these movies I've never seen before, like The Godfather. That was
Mm,
kind of not the mission, but one of
mm,
the key
yes.
goals. I stopped because I was like, life is too short to watch Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney. Life is way too fucking short to watch. I almost said another movie that I think you probably like, so I'm not going to say that.
Say it.
Bringing Up Baby.
I do like bringing up baby. I thought you were going to say The Searchers.
No, I love The Searchers. But so I stopped. I stopped and I never got there. I was like,
Wasn't Yankee Doodle Dandy like number 100 though? Like
it
you
was like
didn't make it
90,
very. You did
95 or
not
something.
make it very far.
I know, I
Okay.
didn't. It was
Godfather
bad.
was like number 2. Okay, like
It
you were
was
never gonna make it.
bad. It was
I've
bad.
never seen it.
You should see it. You should watch it. You watch Yankee Doodle
Maybe.
Dandy. I'll watch Godfather Part 2.
If you'd said I'll watch Beverly Hills Cop, you might have just had it. But okay. So, but yeah, so they're rescuing, but there's a conspiracy. It's really stupid. It's really tropey Castro shit from that era. Like, you have to understand that if there was like a single payer healthcare episode of The West Wing, it was all of the liberal cabinet members and Rob Lowe raping a little kid in the background to the cheers of Gen X women everywhere, turning to the camera.
It wasn't a little kid. It was a teenager. I'm going to make that distinction. Not like the same way Megyn Kelly did. It was a teenager that Rob
And he
Lowe
filmed it.
had sex with on camera,
And
raped
he
on
filmed it.
camera. Yes.
Yes. I think her mom said it was okay at one point because who wouldn't want just lay back and enjoy it if Rob Lowe wants you, I believe, is what the
You know,
t-shirt said.
Pamela Des Barres, all of those like groupies from the 70s, their parents all said it was okay too for David Bowie to rape and Robert Plant and all the people who had sex with groupies back in the 70s.
One
So
of my writing instructors was like, I was like, 15 dating 27-year-old ambulance drivers who were Vietnam vets who should not have been anywhere. And my mom was like, fuck yeah, you got a good one. Okay.
gross.
So, and that would have been in the 70s. And that I was in that program in 2006. And one of my writing projects involved a 35-year-old man and 16-year-old girls. And literally every single person who read it at the Art Institute of Chicago in the writing program and outside the writing program, women and men included, looked at me and were like, what do you mean? It's fucking fine. Every single one of them. One black woman in my program who constantly was like, yeah, no, that guy's a piece of shit. And I'm like, right, that's the point, as opposed to, fuck yeah. Even like very, like, anyway. So what I'm saying is,
Times are changing.
I mean, we said times might change, and instead we're like, no, we're full on bringing back Nazis.
We're going to double down. Yeah.
We're going to bring back Nazis. Okay. So we get the judge and Miguel I think we're just skimming to the end. There's some more dancing and arguing about dancing with Liz Vassy and Sam Robards. But then we get Miguel Sandoval telling the judge that he has proposed to Lee Garlington 100 times. He fucking loves this woman, but there's some weird thing going on with the two of them, and she's not going to get over it until the judge addresses this. So Maximum Bob, the guy who was going to shoot the black kid last episode that his wife was trying to, she wasn't having sex with him for her. She was having sex with him for the dead virgin ghost. And in the first episode, he was cheating, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Maximum Bob's like, all right, man, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
I'll do, like, what's up, dude? Of course I'll try.
He's kind of being a mensch. But I think it's one, to get her off his back, and two, he's not going to have to make alimony payments if she gets married,
which never comes up,
which never
which
comes
is
up. Yep,
really stupid.
really bizarre.
He gives a speech that would have been a great time for it. Okay, so he goes to have it out with Lee Garlington. They eventually get to a point where he's just like, don't you just want to get some good fucking from Miguel Sandoval?
But also, he's a revolutionary. Like, he's going to do good things.
Here's the thing. So Miguel Sandoval, Lee Garlington, Miguel Sandoval's father was second in line to Batista, who was the stooge
Right.
that Castro replaced.
Yes.
So Lee Garlington's idea is to bring him back as the new leader of Cuba after Castro goes off to manage this basketball team. Judge is like, man, he doesn't want to be a fucking stooge to the CIA. He's a fucking real man. He's a revolutionary. And Lee Garlington's like, oh, I could get rocked by a revolutionary every night.
He's got a power fetish, obviously.
Yeah. And in fact, they talk about it in those terms. She's like, I don't want to fuck some wimpy dance. I don't want to marry a wimpy dance instructor. And he's like, he's a fucking revolutionary. He just turned down taking over Cuba. Those are some big ass balls. And she's like, those are some big ass balls. So,
and then she gargles on them
in Emily's version of the show. In Emily's rewrite,
it's just a big group sex activity.
The last scene would certainly play into that. So
yes, it would.
We then cut to the judge officiating their wedding in the courthouse, which is a very cost-effective way to have a wedding scene.
Clearly, and they have the reception in the sheriff's office.
Something like
it was very weird.
Standard ABC was like, "We're taking away some of your money. We don't think we're going to need the sound stage for you for much longer."
Yeah.
So we get the wedding. It's fine. It's like whatever. It's again Miguel Sandoval and Lee Garlington are there together, which I thought was amazing.
Yep.
Because I seriously did not think they were going to have them together, but they do. They get married. We have the reception. Judge gives a speech where I'm waiting for him to say alimony's off. Instead, it's just fucking
nice,
slightly egotistical, but also nice enough, like ex-husband speech. It's far better than any ex-husband speech Maximum Bob should be giving, right?
Yes.
Like, it is not at all about the alimony. It is not about her being a pain in his ass, whatever. Anyway, we then start the dancing where we have this goes on forever. And we also get the big guys in the background of the shot for no reason, except that
there's a gag.
There's a really stupid gag that the director doesn't know how to do, which is funny. So
I didn't even notice it. Like, I didn't notice them in the background until the gag happened. And I was like, oh, that was ineffectual. That could have been better.
That could have been better. So Liz Vassey's like over there with Leanne hanging out. Judge is, who the fuck is?
The judge is dancing with Rosellen.
The judge is, but who is Sam Robards dancing with it initially?
Sam Robards is dancing with Leanne?
No, because he goes over to ask her and we set something useless up with it. But Sam Robards loses his dance partner too. Judge Miguel Sandoval cuts in on the judge, starts dancing with her. Somebody's like, go over and dance with Leanne. And Sam Robards is like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm like, why? Why is that not a good idea?
Somebody else is dancing with Leanne, though.
No, he goes over and gets her to start dancing with her.
Okay.
Maybe he was maybe Miguel Sandoval was dancing with Liz Vassey and we switch up. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Matter.
Doesn't matter. The judge ends up asking Liz Vassey to dance from a distance.
Mouths
it. The two twins are behind her. They mistake his invitation for them, which doesn't make any sense.
Really miss Beth Grant. So instead Liz Vassey's like, fuck yeah, I'll dance with you. Judge who
I hated.
who I hated, who's perverted the course of justice, who I've collaborated with to pervert the course of justice at this point.
Who quid pro quoed me and then
Yeah.
locked me in jail, like,
Who wanted me to have sex with him in the first episode,
even though he's married.
even though he's
And
married, and I said that to him, and he's like, I fuck whoever I want, but we've forgotten that,
yeah,
even though we refer to it slightly in the opening recap. So they all
yeah,
dance. Everybody's happy. Judge is not upset about Leanne dancing with Sam Robards at all. The end.
the end. Yeah, that was
It's
a middling episode of a bad TV show.
less offensive,
Less
but
offensive
also
than the first one, less offensive than the last one.
still garbage.
Still garbage.
So we only have 4 more to go. And next week we saw. Did we see a preview for it? And I totally forgot what happens.
We did, but I stopped before, so I didn't actually
Wow.
watch it. I know. Next week's episode is called A Little Tale. There are some guest stars, including Leslie Jordan. Well, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I love him.
Was there a preview of next episode? I didn't show up in there if there was.
Yeah, because I paused it and there were like boobs. So I wonder if he goes back to the strip club, or if maybe there are more mermaids because one of these characters is a mermaid. Shit.
I seriously watched the promo and do not remember what the hell happened.
There's not a recap of next week's episode on Wikipedia, so on IMDb. So let me pull up Wikipedia. So A Little Tale, a man was refused a job as a mermaid, and Liz represents him in court.
The recap did not include any of this shit, or the call ahead. So maybe there wasn't a real call ahead, or maybe I stopped watching too.
It's funny because Kathy's like, this is not a criminal case necessarily. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Dirk and Bogart return their pet manatee to its rightful owner, because remember, we're in Florida and they're trying to make it look like Northern Exposure. And then Kathy also represents her estranged husband, Kevin.
That's what the preview was. It's about the husband coming back. The husband comes back. They're making out on the couch. He wants her back. And Sam Robards walks in on them fucking. That was what the preview was. So.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm not excited about that. Written by a woman, though. So was this episode.
Yeah. Hashtag feminism.
Hashtag feminism. So I'm looking forward to that, I guess. Thank you all for...
I'm looking forward to whatever I'm going to subject you to next season. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you all for listening. Andrew, thank you for chatting with me today about this wonderful show. I look forward to next week. I'll see you in Television Land.
See you in Television Land, Emily.